Liu Chu, born in Jiangsu Province, China, 1929. His father was a customs official, his mother a housewife. At the time of his birth, China was a rural nation. It was entering a period of relative peace known as the Nanjing Decade. However, even then, China found itself under tremendous internal and external pressures. Like the rest of the world, it was only years away from the devastation of World War II. My name is Jim McManus. It has been my honor to serve as co-chair of the China program of the International Academy of Trial Lawyers. In my work with the China program, I have come to know Liu Chu, a person whose life in many ways embodies the history of modern China. I sat down with Liu Chu to discuss some of his many life experiences. Our conversation begins in Hong Kong, 1941. Liu Chu and his family had fled the Japanese invasion of Shanghai, an attack which predated Hitler's invasion of Poland by 2 years.
1941, we were in Hong Kong. In the morning, as usual, went to school, but then Japanese airplane come, bombed the Kowloon side. So I must go back to my home. The Japanese invasion army asked the whole family to leave the house immediately within 15 minutes because they want the whole area, that complex, to be their headquarters.
Did you get injured in that?
But suddenly the sword passed my head. And if they directly cut my head, I will die right away because sword is long and sharp. But they cut my head, but still I fainted. I knew nothing at that time.
The attack on Hong Kong would become known as the Battle of Hong Kong. The invasion began on the same day at the same hour as the bombing of Pearl Harbor. The Japanese siege lasted for 2 weeks, until Christmas Day 1941, when Hong Kong became the first British colony ever to surrender to an invading force. Global hostilities persisted. After a series of Chinese military successes, the fight for mainland China entered a stalemate. With the United States officially in the war, China and the U.S. developed a strong partnership in the Pacific theater. On September 2, 1945, after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan finally surrendered. After the war, Liu Chu attended Xianghua University in Beijing. Founded in 1911 on the site of a royal garden, Xianghua was originally a school to prepare Chinese students for study in the United States. When it was founded, the faculty members of Xianghua were recruited by the YMCA, and its graduates transferred directly to American schools as juniors upon graduation. In the 1920s and 30s, Xianghua evolved into a major university. It became considered one of the national key universities of China, similar to the American Ivy League. From 1947 to 1951, it was home to Liu Chu. Thus, as a student in Beijing, he found himself in the middle of China's Communist Revolution, which in 1949 became known as Liberation. While in the West, Mao Zedong remains a controversial figure, he is one of the most important individuals in modern history. His supporters regard him as a great leader and credit him with numerous accomplishments, including modernizing China and building it from the ashes of World War II into a world power.
In October 1st, 1949, in the Tiananmen Square, the Mao Zedong stood on the Tiananmen and said, the People's Republic of China is established, Chinese people will stand up from Sister. I was there.
Right there.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, thousands, 100,000 with the Chinese people, including the university students.
Very proud day for China.
Very proud.
Very proud day. Do you think that Chairman Mao was good for China or not good?
It's a very complicated question. I'm not a historian, but from a common people's view, Chairman liberated China. That's true. He represented poor people, poor peasants, workers, the poor people, to get rid of the Kuomintang government, to establish the people's government, serve the poor people. At that time, then, land reform, give the land from the landlord to the peasants. The peasants so happy. It's the first time they have their own land. And the workers, and they no more people oppressing them, beat them, ask them to do their work. And they, in fact, Communist Party took over all the factories. They see the workers as comrades, so that the workers are very happy. All the poor people in the older society are very happy. And so that Chairman Mao really represented them at that time. But after 49, we also have very happy days for 7 years.
Right.
Yeah, the production grows, everybody feels very happy, the livelihood better and better every day. Oh, very good. But then the Communist Party took a party line. Now we call it the left party line. From historic point of view, it's not good. It follows the Russian style. So in fact, took away the land from peasants again. Formerly, they give the land from the landlord to the peasants. Then they formed the so-called collective farm. Gradually, took away the land from the peasants away from themselves. This time, not to the landlord, but the so-called the collectiveness, collective farm, all kind of things, so that the peasants are not happy and production not growing fast.
Was this the great leap forward?
Then in 1959, Chairman decided we must raise our production very quickly to catch up with the Great Britain, British, within 15 years, or with America, even USA, in a rather short time. And he asked, we must do anything in so-called liberated sort fashion. You cannot in the old fashion. You do it anyway. You can imagine, just push things ahead. In fact, it's wrong. For example, and they built a highway. They said, usually you can build a highway, you must spend 1 month or 2. You must have engineers to investigate the land and to write some drawings and calculate how to build this highway, all kinds of this rubbish. We can do it very quickly, so that the peasants, then we can do it, of course. They just loaded the stone overnight on a flat land, put there, and immediately overnight becomes a highway. How great we are, you know? Go to hell, all these engineers. We peasants, we working people, much, much better than all these intellectuals. And after several days, a big rain comes, and overnight it's gone. Such kind of silly things, many all over China happen. They said, oh, the 1 acre of land, thousands of kilos can grain. That's rubbish. We can imagine. We put all the grain seeds all over the land, but all these seeds are dead. All this waste of energy and waste of material. So this great leap forward become disaster.
Yeah. The Great Leap Forward was an economic disaster. In its fallout, Mao was politically on the defensive. In the late 1960s, he sought to outflank his political competitors by declaring a cultural revolution. His goal was to instill a permanent revolutionary atmosphere in China, to communize the whole of the nation and remove from government those whom he labeled bourgeois reactionaries. Mao appealed directly to the people, and Chinese youth responded enthusiastically by forming Red Guard groups who would act as soldiers of the Cultural Revolution.
Target of this revolution is culture. What means that? Culture, that means all the old things. All the old things. All the books, all the series.
Art.
Yeah, music, architecture, whatever you think, old, not good. Because we are creating new things. We're revolutionists. We're fight against all the old things. So they burn all the old books, all the art, all kinds of things, destroy all these things. The Red Guard. Kids, 14, 15, 19, all these kids. They put an old Red Guard here. Immediately declare themselves, I'm the chairman's most loyal soldier. I, under the chairman's order, without anybody's order, I can just go to your house to burn anything I don't like. It's old.
Did they ever come to your house?
For sure.
What happened?
My wife, I live in my wife's house, which is inside Peking University. They just came and look around. This not good. This book is not good. Push away. That's the good one. Oh, English. What's the English book for? Put away. And they search. My wife has some colleagues sending him some music record.
Where'd the records come from?
From Soviet Union. He has some classmates, schoolmates. They're learning from Soviet Union. They know my wife loves music, so they send him, which you cannot produce, they found in China, so that produce rhapsodies, symphonies, Tchaikovsky's, all kinds of things. They said, oh, rubbish.
Many students and academics like Liu Chu would be required to spend time working with the peasantry, doing hard labor, so that they would be, quote-unquote, re-educated in their values. What does that mean, re-educated?
Re-educated because you're intellectuals. Your education was capitalist education all the time. Even after liberation, under Communist Party control, your education is capitalist education. You must be sent to the village among the poor peasants to be educated by them. I was sent to country to be re-educated.
Where were you sent to be re-educated?
Hebei province, a very poor village inside the county of Xingtang.
And what were you doing as you were getting re-educated?
Re-educated, I was sent to a local, very small limestone mine.
How long did it take to get you re-educated?
I re-educated for almost 6 years.
Now, someone told me that your re-education didn't work very well, apparently. Is that true?
I don't know.
China ended the so-called re-education program. When Deng Xiaoping took power in the 1970s, he repudiated the Cultural Revolution. In 1977, he launched the Beijing Spring, which allowed open criticism of the excesses and suffering of the preceding years. Deng Xiaoping also took China into the market economy, opening China to the rest of the world.
After the Cultural Revolution, the Deng Xiaoping opened the door of China, changed the party line altogether, abolished the People's Commune, and said China's only future lying with the communicate with the outside world. We must learn from outside world. And we must send people abroad. So that at that time, I was in the State Import and Export Commission, also Foreign Investor Commission. Yeah, Commander Liu, we have a new assignment for you. I said, okay, we'll send you to New York, United States, Columbia Law School, to study law. I'm surprised. Oh, study law. What is law? I don't know anything. He said, we need law. We need it. So attract foreign investment. They believe law. They don't believe policy. We said we have open door policy. They don't. What's that? They don't trust that. If we have law, they say, oh, there's something in law. We must know some, make some law. We must send someone to study law. I said, oh, okay.
Who asked you to do that?
Yes, was Jiang Zemin. Afterwards, he gradually become the president of China. I really know nothing. He said, yeah, I know nothing either. When you come back, you tell me.
That's what Jiang Zemin said.
That's Jiang Zemin said.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
And so you went to Columbia and studied law for 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. How did you meet Ray Tam?
My very good friend, Larry Foster, who was at that time the dean of Hawaii Law School. I have been teaching Hawaii Law School for 3 times. And he asked me, he said, Ray approached him to find a new consultant who can help him in China program. And asked me, am I interested? I said, oh, what do you think? Who is Ray Tam? He said, Ray Tam is a good lawyer, very honest person. I think perhaps you can help him. I said, okay, if you say so. So Ray Tam come to LA to meet me and talk to him. I said, yeah, good, because this program seems will do good for China, also do good to the American-Chinese friendship. It's a very good program. So the legal field is famous. They like it. And of course, if you say like it or not, every time, each year, they rush to apply for this program.
And you've gone to Beijing with Ray and Audrey each year to interview the candidates?
Every year, since
Every
then.
year? And I understand that you're going to be doing that for at least another 20 years, is that right?
I don't think I can live that long.
No, I think you can. Today, Liu Chu lives in retirement in Southern California, near the campus of the University of California at Irvine, where his wife, Zheng Shuwei, was a professor. Shuwei has become a naturalized American citizen. Liu Chu, however, remains a citizen of China. He and Shuwei continue to travel to their native land each year to assist in the selection of delegates for the China program. Liu Chu believes that the future of his country lies in these young people who are passionately committed to democratic values and the rule of law. He hopes that China's future will be a more peaceful one than the years he experienced in China's past, that the days of foreign invasion, civil war, famine, and revolution are over. But come what may, he will remain true to his birthplace, for his personal history and the history of the Middle Kingdom are forever intertwined. Liu Chu and China are one.